Hello, how are you? Welcome back to ShowNewTrend. I'm host of today, and my name is Elvis Derry.
That's exactly what that is. That's a ship.
3i Atlas 60-second update if you're like most people and going, what the hell is happening? 1. It's producing methane. You know, I don't remember the last time a comet, a meteor, or an asteroid produced methane. 2. It's producing its own light source. And it's producing it from within. I don't remember the last time a comet, meteor, or asteroid did that. 3. It's speeding up and slowing down. It's changing course and then correcting its course. I don't remember when an asteroid, meteor, or comet ever did that either. It's also not producing what typically follows the tail of a comet, meteor, or asteroid. And in fact, it's actually producing that at times in front of it, which is leading scientists to believe that it has some form of exhaust that is helping it speed up or slow down. I don't remember when an asteroid, meteor, or comet has done that either. And lastly, the elements it's made of are not known on our periodic table, which doesn't confirm that it is or isn't a spaceship, asteroid, meteor, or comet, but it does have known elements that we here on Earth have no clue what it is. So those are just 60 seconds of updates on 3i Atlas, just in case you were still wondering what the hell is this thing and when is it showing up.
Hey friends, so there was a video going around about 3i Atlas that basically said there was some pulses of light from 3i Atlas and it was a code and they used AI to decode it and it was a message. I couldn't find any sources to verify that, but I want to share with you something even crazier because people were wondering whether 3i Atlas, and if there's a message from 3i Atlas, if that's a response to the golden record that we sent out with Voyager 1, like in the 70s. And basically, if you followed Voyager 1, you'll know that it went silent. It basically died 4 or 5 years ago. But earlier this year, we had some remote viewing data that it was going to come back online and start sending signal back. And that's exactly what happened. And the sources are kind of drying up for this, but back in February, a signal was sent back basically from the edge of our solar system, farthest any space probe has ever gone. And this signal appeared to have consciousness behind it. Because what it did is it was received by the NASA Willow quantum computers and it started reprogramming the computers themselves, rewriting into the software of the quantum computers. And it instructed the quantum computer to create an image. Now this image was of a vague humanoid figure, and that when the NASA team viewed the image, each person saw something different. But that's not all. It appeared that if you were to look at the image, it would install in the viewer, in the human, a secondary layer of consciousness. That is a secondary awareness. So here we have a signal coming from the edge of our solar system, manipulating quantum computers on Earth to create an image that then changes the brains and the consciousness of the people that view the image. So they actually had to stop people from looking at the image. And it seems like they've sort of scrubbed the internet of this information. But there's a video with Michio Kaku that you can still look up and some information about when this came out, roughly February, March timeframe, I think. So, which is really interesting synchronicity with the movie Elio, which came out this year, the animated movie where aliens respond to the golden record and they come back and they pick up a little boy. So really interesting communication synchronicities, interstellar object synchronicities happening right now. And I'm so curious, if you had the chance to look at the image, would you do it?
So the scientists at NASA who have been monitoring and observing 3i Atlas noticed that a couple days ago that 3i Atlas disappeared from its radar, right? For 20 or so minutes. When it came back on radar, it had jumped 200 million miles from Mars to Jupiter. 200 million miles. In the blink of a fucking eye, it teleported. It teleported 200 million miles unprovoked. Now, the haters are already saying it's fake. They're saying 3i Atlas didn't disappear. It was temporarily unobservable. What's the difference? I mean, when are they gonna stop gaslighting the shit out of us with this whole, it's just a comet, it's just a comet. It's not a fucking comet. And you know how I know? Because there's 7 other ones that have also popped up recently on our radar. All humongous, all moving at 139,000 miles per hour. I mean, at this point, fuck November. Fuck October. With teleporting? Teleport. It could be here any day, any minute, any fucking hour. Teleporting 200 million miles. Blink of a fucking eye. We won't even know it's coming. Someone asked for an update on 3i Atlas? Here you go.
Let me tell you 4 things about 3i Atlas that you should not ignore. Now, we've all been watching this object, 3i Atlas, as it comes into the solar system. We've been talking about it. It is the big thing that is coming towards Earth and towards the sun. That professor, Avi Loeb at Harvard University, says there are at least 4 things that give him pause, that make him think twice about what this thing might be. Thing number 1, its size. Just the sheer size of the thing. One guesstimate puts 3i Atlas at about the size of the island of Manhattan, 17 miles long and about 7 miles wide. It is huge. Loeb says that's weird because most of the objects they encounter in space are not nearly that size. Thing number 2, it has no tail. Comets have tails. They're those balls of ice, snow. Comets have tails because they put off gas because of the sun. But this object, 3i Atlas, has no tail. So now we know it's enormous, and it has no tail. So apparently it is not made of rock and ice the way a normal comet is. Thing number 3 is the speed. 3i Atlas is moving tremendously fast, about 130,000 miles an hour. That is faster than asteroids, than other objects, faster than comets, faster than normal natural phenomena travel. And then thing number 4, he says it seems to be emitting its own light. The light seems to be coming from the object itself. This weekend, he even offered that the thing might be nuclear powered. Now, the thing about Avi Loeb is this. He is an accomplished scientist. He's an astronomer. He is a professor at Harvard University. He has been in the game for a long time. He takes his work very seriously. Most of his colleagues do not agree with him. He's actually pissing some of them off with what he's saying about this. Personally, I don't think he would be ready to throw away his career and alienate all of his colleagues if he didn't think it was important. I think he thinks this is important. I think that might mean we should pay close attention to what happens with this thing. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.
So today is October 3rd, and they're saying that 3i Atlas is getting closer and closer. Right now, they're saying that this 12-mile long comet that's moving 145,000 miles an hour is in the orbit of Mars. And this comet is doing things that they've never seen another comet do. This shit has me so puzzled. I've been having too many conversations about this shit. Now let's just say that whatever this aggressive thing is that's coming toward our planet decides to stop in our planet. Think about this. That shit is 12 miles long. Manhattan is almost 12 miles long. Mind you, if it's almost 12 miles long, just imagine how big the engine is on it. Okay, and think about this. How long have they been telling us about 3i Atlas? Let's go back. A couple of months. This thing didn't stop for gas. This thing didn't stop at another planet. This thing is coming straight to Earth. Mind you, we have no technology that can do what this thing is doing. When people from here go to outer space, if they go to outer space, we have to send supplies. We have to send fuel. We have to do a lot of things that these people or things are not doing. Nobody is thinking about this. So if it is something, let's just say it is something, what are we going to do if it arrives? It's nothing much that we can do. And again, I say this. Whatever is coming here, whatever they say is coming here, they knew about already. They had to know. This is no surprise to them. It's only a surprise to us. But now you got to ask yourself, why are they coming here? All I can say is this. Let's hope it's an asteroid. Let's hope it's not something that will come here and plan on doing anything. Because if it is, we might be in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. I'm out.
What if the wow signal was just 3i Atlas trying to get our attention way back in the 70s? So it's 1977. A little radio telescope, yes, those are real, in Ohio is scanning space, listening to the nothingness of it. Night after night, nothing but static, right? Then out of nowhere, a blast of sound comes out of the void. And it's not just random noise, it's not chaos, it is a single tone. The astronomer that was checking the data and watching this little telescope circled the tone and wrote wow out to the side. So now it's called the wow signal. 72 seconds, this telescope named Big Ear picked up this signal. And it was so clean, it was so perfect that it cut through the cosmos like a voice in a dark room. Get this, it came at the exact frequency of hydrogen, 1420 megahertz. That's basically cosmic channel 0. If another civilization out there wanted to communicate with us, that's the channel they would use. After those 72 seconds, silence. We never got the wow signal ever again. Even when astronomers pointed the telescope back in that direction, nothing. This is why the wow signal is still one of the greatest mysteries of astronomy, because it was like for a second, something out there pushed a key on a piano and held it down for 72 seconds and then stopped forever. Look, I like to think that the wow signal was a cosmic hello from another world, but it could have just been a phenomenon that we're not aware of yet. But for 50 years, no one has been able to explain the wow signal. And you may be thinking, why in the hell are you talking about this, Keela? Because 3i Atlas is also coming from that same direction. Listen, wow signal came from Sagittarius. So did 3i Atlas.
NASA scientist is saying that he saw a 7-foot-tall alien race that looked like African Americans on what he described to be getting off a mile-long spaceship. Let's talk about it. Now, this is all alleged, but I have seen some sources that has talked about this claim, and I honestly don't put anything past it because there's just nothing that I don't believe when it comes down to these extraterrestrials. And my first thought when I read that he saw this race that resembled Africans was the Anunnaki. Now, it was alleged to have been seen at some type of Air Force base, and he said it was hundreds of them. And they looked like a black race, and they were huge. And the Anunnaki were said to be so huge that they were like the Nephilim, which are fallen angels and giants. And he said they had an arrogant look of like conquerors that have never been conquered. I know that's right, aliens. Y'all better serve. But the theory of the Anunnaki's existence has been around for so many years, and they're actually talked about in so many different texts of different cultures around the world. The Anunnakis are said to be some type of extraterrestrial beings that had something to do with basically the existence of humankind. And it is said that they used to basically go back and help ancient civilizations and give them technology and basically tell them what to do and how to make these pyramids, or basically help them do this. Because if you think about it, I don't care what y'all say, there is no possible way that these Egyptians built these pyramids without some type of higher power. So you mean to tell me that these weak slaves, these weak people have built these thousands of pounds of tons and stacked them up and made these pyramids? There's no way. There's no way. The Anunnaki is said to have came down here and helped them and gave them so much knowledge and power. And rumor has it that some people in the higher ups have said that the Anunnaki was supposed to be coming back. So it just all makes sense to me. And lately it's just been so much alien talk, like more than usual. I know every other year we have a few claims and, little few videos of people talking about like different things they've seen. But lately it's just been so much alien talk that some truth has to be behind this stuff. So like I said, this is alleged, but I don't know. I don't put anything past it. But let me know what y'all thinking if y'all believe in the Anunnaki.
Hi guys, so I've got an update for you for the objects now currently flying over Germany. So here's from a guy called Jürgen Nordit. So effectively, enemy drones, as he's put it, can move freely over Germany for hours. Before reaching the Munich airport grounds, unknown drones objects initially circled Bundeswehr German Army facility, BILD. The first objects before they paralysed operations at Munich airport were spotted at 7:30 p.m, and this was on the 3rd of October, over the Erding Air Base. The Bundeswehr Innovation Centre, where new generation drones are tested, is located there. According to witnesses, the wingspan of unknown drones, or objects in this case, was between 60 centimetres and 1 metre. The first sighting were made in Erding near Munich, then in the area of the airport, which is only 8 kilometers away. So the objects were seen over the airport at 8:30 p.m. There could have been up to 6. The Bundeswehr has so far confirmed 5. The drones were last seen around 11:30 p.m. So again, they can't disperse these things with normal anti-drone equipment. There are reports coming through from BBC in Denmark confirming they've heard from officials in Denmark that these are not from Russia, and there's no evidence to support that they are Russian at all. And it looks like at the moment that their anti-drone equipment is not working on these things. Okay, here's an image of what's been taken in Germany. So yeah, does that look to you like it's a conventional looking drone? I don't think so, not with a wingspan like that. I think they're underestimating the size of this thing. I think the wingspan's much bigger. I'm hearing a lot bigger than that, but we'll see what comes out and what they'll try and control. But again, as I've said to you before, the Danish authorities were kept out of the loop, and a lot of the stuff that was discussed is highly classified, which they couldn't discuss to any members of the media when asked questions in Denmark. And now we're seeing the same thing across Germany as well. Just to be clear, this all looks and sounds very similar to what took place in Piccadilly Arsenal, which is a special army base near New Jersey, as well as New Jersey, last year or beginning of this year, of which they could not disperse these things. So they're ramping up, it's not slowing down. And this seems to be quite systemic across Europe and, at the moment, northwestern Europe and Scandinavia and places of that nature. An update on 3i Atlas. Unfortunately, the government has shut down. So, coincidence or not, I don't know. But 3i Atlas is currently traversing across the horizon of Mars, and we aren't getting any images. No images at all. So, whatever's going to be processed will go through the channels through NASA, of course, and we will get something, hopefully, that is unedited and just raw data on what this thing is. To put it to bed, that it's either a comet or just an object that we're not familiar with. But I'm not going to jump the gun there yet and assume it's something it's not. But so far there is no evidence to support that this thing is moving under its own power or is changing direction or is course correcting. Okay, just to clear the air here, there is no evidence that supports that whatsoever, except for strange occurrences that are taking place that are outside the normal characteristics of what we might deem to be a comet. So those are the facts. That is what is going on at the moment. I don't want people running away with things like, oh, it's a spacecraft, when we have no confirmation or proof of that yet. But it is a bit of a coincidence, I would argue, that the government shuts down as 3i Atlas is flying across the horizon of Mars right now, where we have stuff flying around, so we can actually get images of this thing. So we'll wait to see what happens with that. But that's everything for now. You heard it first from DK, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much.
Did NASA just announce that they've discovered aliens? Well, I watched the press conference, so you don't have to. And this is what they said. They said they found a rock. They showed this rock. It was from Mars. It had spots on it, which intrigued them. Leopard spots, they described them as. And they analysed them. And they found, well, their conclusion was that they potentially were made by some sort of ancient life. So it's as close as we've come to finding some sort of life in the universe, some sort of suggestion that we are not alone in the universe, but they're not saying that they found life. They're saying it was like a signal, if you like, a bit like finding fossils on Earth, an indication that there was life here in the past, and it needs much more analysis to make any sort of firm conclusion. But actually, the closest we've come to any sort of evidence that we aren't the only form of biological life that exists in the universe. We may not have been alone, although it's very ancient life, so, you know, it's not as if we existed at the same time. But anyway, that's what we have discovered. There may have been aliens.
3i Atlas. Soon, all will see through 3 eyes at last.
Could the mystery signal from 1977 have been sent by 3i Atlas? Let me explain. Because to this day, no one knows where that signal came from. So in August 1977, astronomers at Ohio State University detected the signal using the Big Ear radio telescope, and it appeared to be coming from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. Guess what else is coming from the direction of Sagittarius? Oh, 3i Atlas. Now, a lot of people believe that this signal came from something extraterrestrial. It lasted for 72 seconds, and the intensity profile matched what would be expected from a fixed radio source. And they came from the same direction in space, probably just a coincidence, but it's a pretty cool coincidence, and this is still unsolved. Which brings me to what Physics Nobel Prize winner David Gross had to say. So Avi Loeb, the Harvard professor who has been very vocal this whole time that either this is a comet or it's something else. He just gave a talk in Copenhagen, which was originally only supposed to be about black holes, but the second part ended up being about interstellar objects also. Which then David Gross suggested that we should also observe 3I Atlas with radio telescopes for any technological radio transmissions coming from it. I mean, you've got to be giving a pretty compelling argument for other people to be like, you know what, maybe we should reach out. And Avi Loeb is like, I agree. He's like, we've already revealed our existence by broadcasting radio signals for over a century. This act might have triggered the visit. Also, if 3I Atlas originated from the inner edge of the Oort cloud, it would have started its journey 80 years ago when radio transmission became routine on Earth. And the first nuclear explosion took place July 16th, 1945, exactly 80 years ago. I mean, if that's where 3I Atlas ends up coming from, the timing is a bit uncanny. So 3I Atlas is like, oh, gotta go check on the kids. This message probably said y'all better clean the house before I get home. I mean, 3I Atlas has a whole boatload of weird characteristics. I mean, it's fine, I'm Sagittarius and I'm weird. But besides it not really having a tail, it also has that high concentration of nickel without iron, which is a hallmark of industrial refining processes on Earth. It's moving faster than any previous interstellar object. It's got an unusually high ratio of carbon dioxide to water, about 8:1. Is it a comet? Is it something else? I don't know, but you know what's going to happen in about a month? It's going to pass by the Mars high-rise camera. They better be showing us some pictures of 3I Atlas.
What the fuck, guys? The Rubin telescope has discovered thousands of objects coming out of deep space along the same trajectory and going alongside 3I Atlas. Listen to this.
The data poured in, a cascade of new bodies bleeding out of the darkness around 3I Atlas, as if some hidden factory had opened. The first night, Rubin logged 989 objects emerging from the 3I Atlas region. By the second night, the count had already surged to 1,355. On the sixth night, it was 1,796. By the seventh, 2,104. 3 days later, the tally ripped past 4,000. The multiplication was continuing, all headed toward Earth. The swarm didn't burst into being, it grew in real time, with new objects appearing in the scans every few hours like fresh production runs from a factory. But why Rubin telescope can detect these objects, not other telescopes on Earth? Because no other telescope on Earth is built like Rubin. Its enormous 8.4 meter mirror and the largest, most powerful astronomical camera ever built, a 3.2 gigapixel eye, sweep across the heavens every night, capturing oceans of starlight at once, instead of staring at a single patch. That is why it could show what no one else could, thousands of bodies spilling out of deep space in perfect formation. And what made it so terrifying was the uniformity. Spectral reports showed every object shared the same speed, the same trajectory, the same strange green-tinted tail as 3I Atlas. Avi Loeb confirmed nickel, cobalt, and high-temperature alloys, the kind of metals forged under industrial conditions, all had the same unusual carbon monoxide-driven glow. Until that moment, every amateur and professional astronomer had seen only one object. Now, there were thousands. Infrared spectroscopy made it worse. Each of these bodies was about 1/10 the size of 3I Atlas, yet apparently powered by a core twice as powerful. 3I Atlas had already puzzled scientists with an estimated 10 gigawatt power source inferred from its core, but the new companions appeared to radiate 20 gigawatts each. Even our most advanced reactors cannot match that power to mass ratio. Our biggest power plants weigh thousands of tons to produce only a few gigawatts. These objects are no larger than a city block, yet each one radiates enough power to light entire nations while hurtling through space.
What the fuck is going on, guys? Seriously. We are literally in for it by the looks of it. We've got an armada and thousands of objects heading our way. Holy fuck.
3I Atlas was supposed to be nothing. A dead stone wandering in from interstellar space, catalogued, logged and forgotten. But astronomers noticed something strange. Its trajectory, once a clean line across the solar system, has shifted. And there's no natural explanation. Something moved it. Now in capitals across the world, this change is being discussed. In Washington, Moscow, Beijing and London, leaders are meeting with astronomers, physicists and military generals, reviewing the same data, the same impossible correction, and the same unsettling question. What exactly is 3I Atlas? For months, the public was told it was harmless, a rock from beyond. But behind closed doors, telescopes track its every pulse, satellites measure its acceleration, and experts debate whether it's a probe, a weapon, or something far older. A few scholars point to ancient Sumerian writings that speak of a return. And so, the watching continues. The object drifts closer, possibly deliberate, and it doesn't appear to be random. No one knows what comes next, only that 3I Atlas has chosen a new path.
So do you think that the United States, someone who used to work for the government, they always say this, someone who used to work for the government, he's given some secrets. I saw space aliens and they came out. They didn't look like Africans, but they looked like Black Americans. Why do you think he was very specific with that? That's a very curious specificity or whatever you want to call it for someone to say that. I wouldn't say, that's like me saying I saw space aliens and they look Japanese. No, you would say I saw space aliens and they look Asian. That's most people would say that. You wouldn't be that specific. I saw space aliens and they look like Eskimos. I saw space aliens and they looked like they were Ukrainian. You wouldn't say that. What I'm trying to tell you is that this system knows exactly what it's doing. And it's feeding Negroes that are out here who have low self-esteem, who ultimately have hatred towards themselves. And they're feeding you this stuff using AI technology to give you this overblown view of yourself so that you can become weaponized against other people out there who don't agree with you. Therefore, you got a bomb, you got a weapon they don't have to build a weapon and put it in a plane and spray a crowd. All they got to do is feed lies to a few Negroes and say, just keep repeating this over and over again. Just keep repeating it. Just keep repeating it. And then the bomb is internal. You see the cleverness of how these people operate? It's really fascinating when you think about it.
If you're keeping up with the 3I Atlas progression through our solar system, you should probably go check out Interstellar Discussions, because he just realized that NASA decided to stop updating its live website. So with it at its closest to the moon, now that we can get a good look at it, they've actually shut down their website. They're no longer updating it. And we still don't have any images, by the way, in case you're wondering. We have no updated images of it as it's coming up to Mars. So, we've got the James Webb telescope. We've got all of these satellites that are out there and no images. No updated images, which is pretty freaking suspicious, if you ask me. I mean, they were pretty excited about this. They were. It's this new interstellar object that's coming in. We're gonna learn so many things, and yet nothing. I think it's time we start asking why we're getting nothing. It's pretty ridiculous. Anyways, go check out his page, because that was great. I didn't know that was happening, and he just updated me. So, over, y'all, and I'll put him down, y'all. Okay, love you, bye.
We are now officially at the beginning of October, and there is more and more concern about 3I Atlas. There are now reports saying that it is getting closer and closer to Earth, and that the size of it is bigger than anticipated. This comet, this 3I Atlas, they are now saying is over 12 miles long and is moving at a rate of 145,000 miles per hour. And they're saying it is currently now in the orbit of Mars. One of the biggest problems is that scientists continue to say different things about what this comet is doing, puzzling many, including myself. So just picture in your mind this thing making a stop at Earth, okay? It is 12 miles long. New York City's island of Manhattan is almost 12 miles long. Can you just imagine how huge? And where would this thing go? Where would it sit? Where would it park? And the scarier part about all of this talk about 3i Atlas, which has been going on now, as you know, for months, we've been hearing dribs and drabs and all types of stories leaking out in the media and also being reported in the media about this 3i Atlas. Keep in mind that it hasn't stopped anywhere else on its journey toward Earth. So it hasn't refueled, it hasn't recharged. There's a lot of things that are scaring the hell out of people when they talk about it because of the fact that it's just moving and coming directly toward Earth. Think about this as a fact. When we head to the International Space Station or go anywhere off of Earth's orbit, we go up completely supplied, stocked, and we know how long we have up there with our fuel. The astronauts have to wear certain gear. They have to bring specific equipment, correct? This thing over here is just going through the atmospheres of space, heading toward Earth, and hasn't stopped to do any of the things that our astronauts do. So what type of defense system do you think we have to protect us if this is legit and is coming toward Earth? Think about that. As I say to you, everything that they are telling us about these situations, they've already known about. It is not a surprise to them, only to you. But then again, you got to ask yourself the question, why is this thing coming toward Earth? So let's just hope that this is just an asteroid. But if it is a gigantic asteroid. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
What if I told you that the mysterious object speeding towards Earth right now was sent by our own ancient ancestors and I can prove it with mathematics? Meet 3i Atlas, discovered July 1st, 2025. NASA calls it an interstellar comet, but here's what they're not telling you. Orbital eccentricity, 6.141, the highest ever recorded. Velocity, exactly 60 kilometers per second. Babylonian base unit. Trajectory, 1 in 500 odds of perfect alignment. Timing, matches ancient calendar predictions. This isn't random. That 60 kilometers a second velocity, it's the exact same base 60 system that Babylonians used 5,000 years ago. The trajectory alignment has a 1 in 500 odds, but ancient mathematicians predicted this exact approach. Here's where it gets insane. Remember those ancient measurement systems? They scale perfectly to 3i Atlas. The Nippur rod, 518.5 millimeters. That's 2650 BCE. 3i Atlas's diameter, 5.6 kilometers, equals 10,800 Nippur cubits. Object's orbital period equals the Mayan long count calculations. Approach angle equals the Mesopotamian astronomical prediction. They didn't just leave us measurement tools, they left us coordinates. The same mathematics that built the pyramids now calculate this object's exact approach. This is an ancient GPS system pointing to their return. The Mayan long count didn't end in 2012, it was counting down to 2025. The long count began in 3114 BCE. Okay, calculating forward to now. 3i Atlas discovered July 1st, 2025. Exact Mayan alignment. Perihelion, October 29th, 2025. Ancient calendar significance. Vegesimal system scales perfectly to cosmic distances. They weren't tracking Earth's time, they were tracking return time. The Mayans weren't just making calendars, they were running a 5,000-year countdown. July 1st, 2025 discovery date matches their calculations exactly. This isn't astronomy, this is an ancient reunion schedule. Here's the smoking gun. 3i Atlas is moving at exactly 60 kms. That's not random. They built our time system, 60 seconds, 60 minutes, and that's Babylonian mathematics. Now, their return vessel approaches at exactly 60 kilometers per second. This is a mathematical calling card saying, we are coming home. What if ancient advanced humans left Earth during a catastrophe and now they're coming back? They didn't vanish, they evacuated, left mathematical breadcrumbs so that their descendants could recognize them. 3i Atlas isn't an alien ship. It's our ancient family coming home using the same mathematics they taught us. 29th, 2025, 3i Atlas reaches perihelion. If I'm right, something big happens. What you need to watch for is ancient sites showing unusual activity, electromagnetic anomalies at megalithic structures, dormant ancient technology mysteriously activating, mathematical signals from 3i Atlas during closest approach. Mark your calendars, October 29th, 2025. Either I'm completely wrong, or we're about to witness the greatest homecoming in human history. Those ancient factory systems we simulated, they might start working again.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's show. See you in the next one. Bye bye.